Hi, I'm Oblissi.
Hey, if you enjoy the video, consider clicking like, subscribe, bell notification, and the join button. Becoming a channel member is only $4.99 a month. It really helps me out, and you get a bunch of perks like these badges for how long you've been a member for. You get these emojis for my live stream chats, and you get access to my videos when I upload them instead of when I release them. So thanks so much, and enjoy the video. Hey everyone, so for my Shiny Hunter friends, it is Safari Week. So I figured I would try and do a video in the spirit of Safari Week as well. And so I'm going to be showing you how to RNG in every Safari Zone in the main series. So we're going to start with Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. If you've never RNG'd before, I'd recommend watching my tutorials about that if you're trying to do it yourself, but if not, that's fine. Out of game, you're only going to need 2 tools. You're going to need Eon Timer, which is the program with the Glaceon here. You're also going to need Poke Finder, and you're going to open up to the Wild part. So this is the main window of Poke Finder, and click Wild. If you want to get a shiny out of this, you're going to need your secret ID, which I have a great video in Ruby and Sapphire on how to manipulate. And if you want to learn it in Emerald version, you can watch Pokemon Trainer Choppy's great video on that. So, with that out of the way, once your Wild tab is open, in-game, you're going to need a few things. I recommend putting on a Repel. First of all, save one step in front of the Safari guy, and then put on a Repel, is basically what I'm doing. So, done the Repel, and I'm saving. This is because we're going to be using Oddish, or a Sweet Center, to get an encounter. So, in the game, you're going to also need a Pokemon who will stop all Pokemon. So this is my big boy, Swampert. Hello, there we go. My big boy Swampert here. And then you're also going to need a Sweet Center. So this is Oddish. This Oddish has Sweet Scent. That's its only function in reality. The other Pokemon, if you want to go to a deeper area of the Safari Zone than I'm going to be in, you will just need to have the appropriate equipment to get to there. Because since you can't save in the Safari Zone, you can't really go, you have to like travel there. Like you have to save outside the Safari Zone and travel there before your time is up to RNG. Alright, so with that said, you're pretty much good in game. Back into the Poke Finder window, we're going to do a few things here. We're going to, for the encounter type, select Safari Zone. I actually don't know why it's its own thing, but hey, that's fine. If you're on Ruby and Sapphire, select Method H1, and if you're on Emerald, you can do Method H2. For Ruby and Sapphire, you have to make sure your battery is dead, and you're going to type in seed 5A0. If you're on Emerald version, your battery doesn't have to be dead, and you can leave it blank. For starting frame and max results, just leave it, unless you're going to wait a very long time. Here you can set the stats if you're wanting to. I'm just going to be going for a shiny. And then here you can select, nature, gender, ability, etc. Which is all fine, but I'm not going for it. And you can even pick the Pokemon you want here as well. Again, I'll just be going for the quickest one. For shiny only, check that. Make sure you've got the appropriate profile. As you can see, I've got my profile here with my trainer ID and secret ID, which you need to know if you want a shiny. Then for the last thing, for this box here, we're going to make sure use delay is checked and type 261 because that's Oddish's delay. And then we hit generate to get our shiny frames. And so as you can see, I have a shiny frame at 53 seconds for frame 3189. So we're just going to type that in. In Eon Timer, you type it in the target frame and you set the pre-timer as 5000. The calibration, you can leave it 0 if you've never done this before, but if you have done it before, you kind of know your calibration for this. So, then what we're going to do next is start Eon Timer at this, and then when the counter hits 0, we're going to soft reset our game. And then you're going to mash through as fast as possible to get to grass. So you have to go through this whole intro very quickly. And for the record, there's no reason I'm doing it on a Japanese game. This was actually just the game. Oh, hello. Oh, crap, do I... Ha! Pause! So that was a little side meme. I didn't actually have the Pokéblock case, so I had to pause and go get it really quick. I forgot that I didn't grab it on this playthrough. But so like I said, you just get through everything as fast as possible after your setup, and run into the patch of grass you're willing to get your Pokemon in. Go here. Oh, that's the Dex. I always forget the, this changes it. And then you wait for your timer to count down, and when it hits 0, you're going to use the Sweet Scent move. Not much more to it than that. And you listen to this jam. So if you get it, you get it. If you don't, we're going to tackle calibration, hopefully. This is a Gloom. This is not the Pokemon I aimed for. So just chuck balls until you can get it, but there's a chance it'll just pop out, which is fine. Remember the level and remember the gender. And the Pokemon, of course. So uncheck Shiny only while we're doing all of this. Select, and then hit Generate again. And then scroll to your Shiny frame. It's like, for me, it's like 3,000 or something. You have to scroll to it manually or else it doesn't work. Which is fine. Alright, so once you get back to your Shiny frame, and I caught the Gloom, which is the most helpful part. So right click, set this as target frame. And then so what we're going to look at is, because the Gloom goes straight to our party, we're going to look at that. Oh, I want to say that's Lax or Lonely. I always forget. Okay, so this is a Lax-natured Gloom. We're looking at its stats. So what we want to do is look for Gloom's encounter slot, or whichever Pokemon you caught in encounter slot. So Gloom is encounter slot 6. So I hit an encounter slot 6, that's Lax. So let's see if we can find it. Lax, encounter slot 6. Level 25. This is looking like the Gloom that I hit. You can also do gender. Is Gloom 50-50? Yes, it is. So I would do the 50-50 gender ratio. Hit generate again. And then just click. Oh, yeah. One sec. Target frame. Okay. So let's make sure it's the correct gender as well. See, good. Oh, nope. This is the wrong one. Ding dong. This is the correct gender. And if you're really unsure, you can even calculate its IVs a little bit to make sure you're in the proper range. But I'm fairly certain this is what I hit. So I type in here 3197 and I hit update. And we go again. Simple as that. And the reason, by the way, you put a repel on is so you don't accidentally, just to give some information here. So the way the frames work in this game is it goes at 60 frames per second in terms of the RNG abuse. And battles are actually double that rate. So what you want to do is have a repel out with a Pokemon who is a high level, so you won't have encounters, just so you don't accidentally get into a battle while you're running to your area. Because if that happens, then the timer is actually going to be all screwed up, because for even a brief period of time, your frame rate was increased by quite a substantial number. So you don't actually want that. Okay, hopefully I hit it this time. Giraffrig, level 25 female. What encounter slot is that? 2 or 3? Did I hit a frame later? Hello? And it's gone. So I think I hit... No, because... I think I hit 1 frame later than I hit before. Is there another one like this? See, it could have been this one. So this is the hard part about not catching it. You're not going to know. So you just have to attempt it again. Okay, so you're going to go through this. Again. Wait on our boy, or girl? I think they're all girls, right? I think everyone except my starter is a girl. Pretty much. And there you go. Shiny Oddish in not very many tries. Now, one of the fun parts for RNGers, I would say, about the Safari Zone, or maybe the frustrating part, depends on your person, is this is one of the few times RNG doesn't actually help us, in the sense that it is luck that I caught that Oddish. I did nothing to catch the Oddish. And in Generation 3, there's nothing really on retail you can do to catch the Oddish. But that's it for Ruby Sapphire or Emerald. So next up is the Safari Zone in Fire Red and Leaf Green. And fair warning, Fire Red and Leaf Green are by far the worst ones to RNG on for this. So only attempt this if you really, really, really like Fire Red and Leaf Green. So it's going to be similar to the to the Hoenn ones, where you have to save in front of the Safari person. And I would also recommend using a Repel before you do that. Ignore all of the cheated items in here. I did this as a little kid. Sorry about that. So yeah, use a Max Repel here and save your game in front of the Safari guy. You're also going to need a fairly high level lead Pokemon, so I have my level 80 Blastoise in the lead, just so you don't get into encounters. Out of game, you're going to need Poke Finder and Eon Timer again, just like before. For Eon Timer, the setup's going to be different. I would set your calibration to around 1725, and then you can go from there. Through multiple people's testing, this is where our calibration tends to end up. If you don't want to go with this type of calibration, you can start at 0 and figure your way out from there, but I'll talk more about that later. For the pre-timer, set it to 35,000. It should be exactly 35 seconds. And your target frame, we'll figure that out in a minute. So, in Poke Finder, you're going to click, Wild, and it'll bring you to this section here. Make sure you click the correct profile. Again, if you want a shiny, you need to know your trainer ID and your secret ID. For your shiny frames, method H1 is the most common method. However, sometimes method H2 and H4 will be hit, so we're gonna have to work through that together. For the encounter, Safari Zone is actually a place in this game. You type it here. Safari Zone Center is like the main area, and then the other Safari Zones are just like the different areas. Just look which one is up on Bulbapedia. I'm doing the center. In game, you're also going to need an Oddish, which I have with me, for sweet scenting. There we go. And you're going to do the same thing. Checkbox, use delay, hit 261. Now, for the seed, and we're going to click shiny only. For the seed, you have to do a pre-calibration of the seed to see which seeds you most commonly hit. So, I talk about this in my Mewtwo video and my Wild RNG video that I'm going to be putting out for Fire Red and Leaf Green. So if you want to watch those, do it. And I might even put out just a specific calibration video for Fire Red and Leaf Green. Essentially what you have to do in order to find your seed is to catch Pokemon and then type their IVs in to figure out which seeds you hit. But I would have expected you to have done this before, so watch the Mewtwo video, which is the one that's out right now, but I'll be putting out more later if you're interested in it. So these are my most common seeds. I've shifted it a little bit to be aiming for this seed specifically. This is the one I'm hitting the most lately. So what you're going to do is paste your most common seed here, and then hit shiny only and generate. And so as you can see, I have a few shinies. I have two at around 40 seconds. So I'll be aiming for this one, 2623. So once all that's done, you're just going to turn your game off completely. Now, I'm using a Nintendo DS. If you're not using a DS, you do this a little differently. But in the DS, you're going to start the GBA game at the same time you hit the Eon Timer start here. If you're doing this on an actual GBA, what you do is turn the GBA on at the same time you hit start on Eon Timer. So you do that. This will run down. Now the whole intro is going to play out. Wait for it to play out completely. Do not touch a single button. Do not skip the intro. Do not do anything. And this is just to get our initial seed hitting consistently. And while this is happening, you can uncheck shiny only and like just to get like an actual frame layout here. So when it ends, we hit the A. And then we do what we did in what's it called? Ruby and Sapphire, where we just go into the Safari Zone and head over to a spot to Sweet Scent. Oops. Alright, and I wait. See, Summary's first in Fire Red and Leaf Green. I think that's why I was messing up with Oddish so much in the other game. So we know our shiny frame, so I'm going to scroll closest to it. But when the first timer hits 0, you're just going to start your timer. You're going to hit A. Ah, I'm sorry. That was a weird mistake to make. So, it's 4, 6, whatever. Did I pass it? Here it is. Alright. So we get the Pokemon. In Fire Red and Leaf Green, it's much more important to catch them. There's nothing you can do about it, but it's just much more helpful. It's very, 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 very helpful to catch a Pokemon. So this execute here, we can start a few things. Come on, please. Nice. Okay, this is very good for us. So, once you catch the Pokemon, we're going to do the same exact thing to see if we hit the proper seed, first of all, and what frame we hit. So this is careful. Looking at the seed I'm aiming for, I can already tell you that I don't think I hit the seed I aimed for. Now, another thing is, if you don't have any calibration, you're probably going to be way off, even while accounting for Oddish, so keep that in mind. So, I hit a careful execute. Execute is encounter slot, what? 2 or 3. So, a 2 or 3 careful nature. Let's see here. That's 4. My only executes are mild. So, and the thing is, the nature doesn't change with the method at all. So, oh, and I clip. The reason it'll do that jump is because I left it on execute. So the nature doesn't change with it. The only thing that changes is the IVs. So, what now we have to do is check all of our other commonly hit seeds to see if we hit one of those. So again, 2, 6, 2, 3. What are you? Careful. Don't see a careful nature nearby. Nope. C66E. No. Nope. Different level. Are you... What's the last one? 75C? I think I found it. So, if I did 50-50 gender, which is what execute is, male, careful, encounter slot 3, which is what execute is, level 25. So, I'm confident we hit this one. What you can do to check is open up an IV calculator, which I think PokeFinder has. Tools, IV calculator. So we can do just like a quick range check here. So execute. Careful. Gen 3. Do they even have characteristics in this gen? I don't think so. We can ignore that. Hidden power, I don't know it. 25. And you type in all its stats. So 0 to 3. So what, this is the one we're thinking. So 0 to 3, 24 to 27, 0, 1. Oh, interesting. So this one is kind of right. The first 3 are proper. This one's wrong, this one's right, and the last one is wrong. So this could mean a different method, or I didn't hit this frame. So let's see if it's a method H2, because the stats do change. It's definitely not that one, I can tell you that. And then we can check the last one over here. Okay, it could be this one. So it looks like it is. So as you can see, I method H4. I got 1, 25, 16, 16, 0, 13. That fits perfectly, and it would be hidden power poison. So this is the execute that I hit. So what I would type into frame hit, I would type in 2620. The frames are mostly consistent across seeds. Sometimes you don't want to do this adjustment. Sometimes you do. It really depends. So we're going to go again. Just have to do the same thing again. And then also, sometimes you can adjust this pre-timer. This is like an experimental thing I do, but we'll see about it. For the most part, the timer you leave at 35,000. You can do micro adjustments like this for the pre-timer to potentially change which seeds you're hitting consistently. I'll talk a bit more about this in depth, but for the most part, just leave it. And you can even, let's say I start finding that I'm hitting 7D5C the most more than any other seed, I can just start aiming for that seed instead. You know what I mean? That's just the way it works with Fire Red and Leaf Green RNG. Unfortunately, my shiny frame here is horrible. 10 minutes, get out of here. And we just go again. Now, the thing about making adjustments to the inner timer like that is it's dangerous because you could start hitting timers or frames that you don't normally, or like initial seeds that you don't normally hit, so it's a little bit dangerous, but, you know. Fire Red and Leaf Greens are very much a lot more luck than I would say most other RNGs have. Oh, hello. A YouTube comment from a friend. Or and let's see. Parasect here, female level 30. Keep that in mind. Female level 30 Parasect. So we're gonna jump to target for. Just scroll all the way down to it again. We caught it, which is super lucky. A Parasect first try like that, that's very, very lucky. So we're going to check a few things here. What encounter slot is the Parasect? You have an item, that's cool. Timid. It's looking like it's no way Parasect's encounter slot 1, right? Parasect is 7. With Timid, I don't even see an encounter slot set anywhere near here. So we can go to another one. Let's drop it to H1. We'll check all of our other seeds again. This is just how you have to do, you know. Oh, it's 5229 is the main one we're aiming for. Oh, and I clicked Parasect only. Dang it. 2-6. Oh, here we go. So first of all, I want to make sure I click and set a target frame, so I can jump to it quickly. I don't see any timid ones here. So we can move on to the other one. 2D0. Timid, encounter slot 1, no thank you. That is not what I hit. Nope. Huh. And see, this is the thing. I think I hit a seed I've never hit before, because I did that little minute change. This is how frail Fire Red and Leaf Greens RNG can be. Oh, actually, nope, I found it. Level 30. So we hit 2622 on frame, or yeah, 2622 with seed C66E, and so we can just give this another go. I'm very confident. It's a timid Parasect with a proper encounter slot and everything, so I'm very confident in that. So like I said, this timer didn't seem to change much, but we'll see. And it was the correct gender as well. That's another important thing. You want to do as many things if you don't want to calculate the IVs as possible. And I should have calced its IVs if I really, really was feeling it, but sometimes I'm just... You can kind of play it by ear. Once you get really, really familiar with all of these seeds, you can really, really play it by ear. Or by, like, eye, basically. You just kind of look and see, you know what's up. By this point, you know the drill. Walk in, pay your money, pay your 500 conservation fees. I was just at the Bronx Zoo. I saw trees like that. Paid my conservation fee. And you just wait. And at this point, I'm only 1 frame off, so I just kind of have to hope I hit my seed. And my frame. Level 22 male Nidoran. These are all over the place, so it's hard to tell which seed I hit. I actually probably didn't hit my seed. One of the nice things about the Nidoran males is they don't run too often. I'm probably jinxing it as I'm speaking, but they don't run too often, and so they're kind of easy to catch and check their stats and natures and all that. So we'll see where I'm at, and we'll do adjustments accordingly. Oh, this is a timid one. I knew this. Oh, this is a... Oh, I think I actually know exactly what. 75C, is that this username? I always forget the name of it. This is you. This is 7622 on 75C. So all you have to do is attempt again. We're 1 frame early. We just try and have to hit it. And like I said, you can, you know, do micro adjustments, whatever you want, just to hit your seed. And like I said, fire red and leaf green can be very fickle, but that's just kind of how it is. There's not much else I can say to help you in regards to what to do for this. Okay, and like I said, you just do your usual and hope you hit your seed. There's not much nuance to this. Hitting your seed can be very fickle. Some days you're just going to be really on point, hitting the seed you aim for. Like I said, I find that if you notice you're hitting a different seed very frequently, what you should be doing is... if you're hitting a different seed very frequently, just switch to that seed, honestly. And if your seed has a really bad shiny frame, like it's 10 minutes in, I would recommend playing with the pre-timer. That's the best thing you could probably do. Okay, and it's just all up to Oddish now. And as the battle starts, we can see that it's a shiny Nidorino, level 31, just like the seed I was aiming for. And, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of skill and a bit of luck, a little more luck than I like, but if you want RNG in Fire Red Safari Zone, that's how you do it. On to the Great Marsh. Okay, so here is the Great Marsh tutorial, and at a game, you're going to need Eon Timer in the Gen 4 tab, and you're going to need Poke Finder in the Gen 4 tab as well, with your profile set up with which game you're doing. And you're going to need your secret ID and your trainer ID if you want it to be shiny. I have a great guide on how to RNG that if you're interested. It'll automatically set it to method K, and you're going to want to click the searcher tab of the Gen 4 Wild. I'm just going to show you how to get to it really quick, because it defaults you to generator. And you'll want to click Great Marsh as your area, just so you can have like the proper encounter slots and all that jazz. In game, you're going to need a few things. It's going to be saved in front of the Safari desk as per the usual. You're going to want to set a repel and save the game there, but also you're going to need to have 2 chatouts with a recorded chatter. My audio, I couldn't record it, but basically they just scream like ah and have a pitch and stuff. It's fun. You're going to also need the Coin Flip app. which I think you get in that like resort area right outside of the city to the right. And after you set the repel, save the game. The repel's for the same purpose as it is in the other 2 safari zones. Oh, and one other thing, out of game, you also potentially need a GBA game that is compatible with your game. So a Japanese game would need a Japanese GBA game, English game would need an English GBA game, etc. Once you're ready to search in the generator, you can, or in the searcher, you can just search for any different spread you want. You could put more parameters than just shiny. I just went with shiny only, which is fine. And I just picked one with a low frame count. You can also set the lead to none if you don't want to use like a cute charm or like a whatever lead. Once you find a seed, copy and paste it into the generator, and make sure you pick Great Marsh Area 1 or whichever area you're going for, and make sure your frame is in the correct spot to RNG. Go back to searcher and right click and hit generate seed to time. I always check off the seconds box and set it to 23 seconds because that's like the best minimum time. Pick a date and hit generate and then search. I also, you're going to want to have the delay at ±100 and the seconds at ±100. If you're failing to keep up with the pace for this one a little bit, check out my wild RNG guide as well, by the way. So what we're going to do now is boot to the DS title screen and go to the date and time, and we're just going to set it to whichever one we pick in the seed to time box there. So 5/31/2019. I was actually considering doing one of the June ones because it's close to my birthday, but and set the time as well. Now before you hit confirm the time, you're going to want to go into Eon Timer, type your the calibrated delay should start off at 600. The seconds, leave them alone. The delay, you put in what seed to time tells you, and the seconds you do 23, like I did 23 there. If you notice, though, I lowered the second by one, not the second, the minutes by 1, because Eon Timer tells me that I need to be 1 minute before my target frame. And so instead of doing 57, I did 56, and I wait until Eon Timer counts me down. There's not too much else in the way of nuance for this part, but we're just waiting for it to count. So when Eon Timer finishes counting down, you're just going to start the game. And we only have 20 seconds, but just mash as fast as you can through the intro. If you noticed as well on the main DS screen, I didn't have a... I had a GBA game in, but you're not going to see anything here. That's because it's an English Fire Red, so it's not really compatible. And when this timer hits 0, you're going to load the game world. Then what you're going to do is just do the coin flips. So go into search flips and just record in this little box here which coin flips you've been getting in this beautiful little application. It takes a while, but the thing is the computers can't mesh your frame up in here. They can once you get into the marsh itself, but in here there's no moving NPCs, which is sick. And I'm only covering how to do the quickest area in the marsh. If you're going for a deeper area in the marsh, you're gonna have to set your frame to like hundreds of frame high. Like I would recommend 300 or 400 if you want to go into like the Great Marsh area for like a shiny back there or something like that. So once you find it, figure out which delay you hit and type it into the delay hitbox and click update. Now if you hit a delay that you can't normally hit, so if you were aiming for an even delay and you hit an even delay, you're good. If you're aiming for an even delay and you hit an odd delay, you have to switch something in your process. And so while I redo it here, I'll show you what's going on. So the two ways to do it are to use a GBA game. So if I hit an odd delay, what I could have done is put in a Japanese game that's capable of migrating through Pokebank, or if you're playing on an English cart, you could use an English game. and that would switch the delay from odd to even. That's my preferred way to do it because I still have an old DS. If you have a DS that doesn't have a GBA slot, what you can just do is change the year by 1, and then you'd have to change the year in your DS date and time and stuff, but it does work actually. And the timer just counts down again until we do attempt number 2. Oh, and while this counter is going down, I should explain, I had intended to do Heart Gold Safari Zone. However, it turns out, super messed up. You can do it, but it's like an extremely complicated process. And so that would actually add like another half hour to this video, which I am just not willing to do because it's already 42 minutes long. So, as the timer hits 0, just boot up the game and do exactly what we did last time. So yeah, I probably will one day cover the Safari Zone in Heart Gold. Maybe I'll wait a whole year and do it next Safari Week. We'll see about that one. But yeah, it's super messed up. Don't do it. I don't even know really fully extent what's up with it. So here's attempt number 2. And we're gonna go for it again. Just do your search flips. Wow, just search your flips like last time. The downside is that flip searching can take a really long time, but the nice side is, unlike Heart Gold and Soul Silver, this doesn't actually advance your frame at all. I do think it actually messes with the egg seed, funnily enough, but I've never done egg RNG in this game. And it also takes a while. I mean, Elm Calls take a while too, but at least you have Roamers and Heart Gold and Soul Silver to help verify. And figure it out in a second. Okay, so it seems we're really, really close. And so when the delay is like that, I actually don't mind just like not adjusting, but if you want to do the delay hitbox, you can. So it's really up to you. So like if I hit one delay off several times in a row, then it's not a big deal. Like then it is a big deal, then I do adjust the frame hitbox. But if I only have it once, I wouldn't adjust it the first time. So like if I hit, I'm aiming for 970, right? If I hit 972 and then I go again, I don't do any adjustment. But if I hit 970, if I hit 972 like 4 times, then I do adjust the delay hitbox, just because that means you're being consistent to that degree of it. Now the thing about the Great Marsh is there's a few things, a few bits of nuance I'll discuss here in regards specifically just to it. The Great Marsh has NPCs, so they're going moving and wandering NPCs randomly advance your frame. You walking around the grass will advance your frame. So the best way to deal with it is the repels, obviously, just to help not get random encounters, but also is to kind of vaguely keep track of where you are, like try and count like an NPC step and stuff like that. And then also you can use the Ascendentary value, which is the value after you come out of a of a battle. So if you find your frame or a frame close to it, go into a battle, get out of the battle, you can set your frame. But yeah, I would just aim for a really high frame and then try to find your chat-op pitches. Here, I only do a few coin flips because I'm aware of which seed I'm trying to hit. I'm aware of what it is, and so I reasonably understand that I didn't even need to do the actual search. I just know what I needed. So here I just pay for the marsh and I go in. And so what you want to do is get to the patch of grass as fast as possible. And then bring up the start menu so the game stops advancing and go into your chat-ots. And what you're going to try and do is find, basically by ear, you just have to guesstimate how many advances you think you've done. And then listen to the chat-ots and just see if you can find like what's up. What I like to do is look for a specific amount of if there's one that's got like 3 lows in a row or 2 highs or 3 highs in a row, something like that's distinctive, right? And you'll be able to find it that way. Just look for like a distinctive pattern with the chat-ots, like noises and all that junk. And once you're able to like kind of find what's going on, You just do the advances pretty quickly, and you're going to want to advance to the frame before your shiny frame, or what if you're not going for a shiny, just advance to the frame before that one. And that's it. I mean, unlike in later games, the Sweet Scent animation freezes computers through the entirety of it, so you actually don't have to worry about that kind of thing very much, which is pretty cool, I think, anyway. And as you can see, I'm the frame before it, and Sweet Scent. I actually didn't even check which Pokemon this is, so this will be fun. It's an Arbok. It actually looks super cool gold like that. And just like in Gen 3, captures are pretty much random. There is potential for capture RNG in Platinum and Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but it's similar to the way the Pokerus RNG works, but yeah. Not in Diamond and Pearl. The battle RNG goes much too quickly for you to be able to manipulate that. And here I think the Arbok runs away, and at least I got to see him sparkle 3 times. But goodbye, my friend. I hope you guys enjoyed the Safari Week video I had. I know I'm sort of tangentially related to the Shiny Hunting community. I hope people who don't RNG but like watching it learn something new, and I'll see you guys next video. I just want to thank my channel members so much. You guys are amazing. Without this kind of support, I wouldn't be able to put out the videos I do, and I wouldn't be able to stream as frequently. Thanks so much. If you want to consider becoming a member, just click the join button underneath this video or at my channel page. It's only $4.99 a month. It really helps me out. I'm extremely uncomfortable doing these kinds of plugs, but I'm doing it anyway because the money helps. And if you can't or don't want to, don't feel bad. I'm just asking because... yeah. Thanks so much, guys. You're all amazing. See you next video.